Are you looking for the best mini gaming PC? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best mini gaming PC on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Minisforum 773 Mauritanian Ugias Lite. Integrated graphics. We hear you cry, and we respond with a resounding yes. The $539.99, £495.20, Minisforum UM773's AMD 680M sits between the integrated graphics of Valve's Steam Deck and the Asus ROG Ally, which, as we all know by now, are very capable little machines. The 680M is allowed to perform at its best because of the inclusion of very fast DDR5, which AMD's CPUs and iGPUs work nicely with, and 32 GB of it no less. Though it is not as capable as its younger sibling the 780M, it manages to be slightly more efficient due to its lower power draw, so those working with constrained power budgets will be served here. Esports titles will run well at 1080p and emulation will be no problem at all. Older titles too will, of course, return great performance, so if you're not too fussed about the latest AAA games, you're sure to have a great time with this seriously handy little machine, especially when paired with the best gaming monitor to get the most out of this mighty box. Whilst the Minisforum Venus 773 Mauritanian Ugias doesn't offer the same portability as the Deck or Ally, it makes up for it in connectivity with a plethora of ports, making this a very practical little machine. It is also surprisingly upgradable with 2 SODIMM slots, a PCIe 4.0 M.2 slot, and room on the bottom for a 2.5-inch hard drive. You could also connect an eGPU via the USB 4 port if you wanted some extra GPU down the line, as the CPU will age more gracefully than the iGPU. Number 2. Corsair One i500. The Corsair One has become a PC design icon since the original debuted in 2017, and we've been fans ever since. As our expert reviewer puts it, if you've dreamed of owning a high-end mini gaming PC, but didn't want the hassle of building one yourself, the Corsair One i500 effectively does this for you and then some. Look at that subtle RGB lighting. The tasteful wooden casing. Oh my god, it even has water cooling. The Corsair One i500 has a footprint of just 187 by 300 mm, and it's gorgeous, with wooden panels flanked by strips of RGB lighting and superb build quality. There's a serious PC inside though, with an Intel Core i9-14900K CPU and a choice of either an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 Super or RTX 4090 GPU. Despite the compact sizing, there's no sacrifice in gaming performance. We tested the RTX 4080 Super version, which ran Cyberpunk 2077 at 2560 by 1440 with the Ultra Ray Tracing preset at 106 frames per second, thanks to some help from the frame generation tech in NVIDIA DLSS 3. F123 at 4K with ultra-high settings averaged 94 frames per second in our tests. On the downsides, of which there are few, the 120mm AIO cooler on the CPU doesn't have enough power to enable the Core i9-14900K to hit its peak boost speeds, and it can make quite a lot of fan noise when running games at full load. Otherwise, this is the most beautiful mini gaming PC on our list. Perfect if design is your priority no matter the cost. Number 3. Beelink SER6 Gaming Mini PC. AMD's integrated graphics make another showing here with the Beelink SER6. The SER6 has an AMD 660M that is slightly less powerful than the iGPU of the Steam Deck, but the SER6 has 2 extra CPU cores and more power available to it, so you can expect your games and general computing to feel a little snappier. To keep the Ryzen 5 6600U running sweet, there is 16 GB of DDR5 RAM, and older and lighter titles such as Minecraft and League of Legends will hum along nicely. You also have good options for expanding your storage and RAM with user 2 SODIMM slots and a PCIe 4.0 M.2 slot, which are user replaceable. Similarly to the Minisforum, there is space for a 2.5-inch drive at the bottom of the SER6 if you want to get silly with the storage and dump all your legally owned ROMs for a great little emulation machine. If the included 512 GB isn't enough, be sure to check out our best SSD for gaming roundup. An unfortunate flaw here, though, is the dual fan design. Because the individual fans are smaller, they are much higher pitched than a larger singular fan would be, so when things heat up, it can be a little loud. It's also only a little cheaper at $429, £539, than a 680M equipped mini PC, so you may want to spend an extra bit of cash for the additional CPU and CU cores. Number 4. Blackview MP200. The Blackview MP200 is the ideal mini PC for those who want to spend as little as possible. Its competitive pricing makes it our top cheap option, but that price does mean limitations with performance. Inside the MP200, the Intel Ultra HD graphics hinder gameplay somewhat, to the extent that you'll need to play most in the lowest settings. It's not impossible to play the best PC games, but you may struggle with AAA releases. There are enough ports to add 3 displays with USB 3.2 connectivity, and the storage and RAM can both be doubled if you want to add second modules and upgrade the machine further down the line. We'd recommend the Blackview MP200 if you want one of the cheapest Windows 11 PCs on the market, but if gaming is your priority, then lack of graphics card and cooling will let you down. Number 5. Asus ROG Ally. The Asus ROG Ally may have a display and a built-in controller, but it is by all accounts a mini gaming PC that just so happens to be extremely portable. We were mightily impressed by the $699, £699 Ally in our review. It's eked out the Steam Deck for the best portable mini gaming PC because of its extra grunt in the GPU and CPU department, which lets us play games on the go at 1080p. When plugged in at home, you can opt for the maximum power envelope that would normally rinse your battery and have a very capable little computer that you can do pretty much anything on. With the XMG connector, you can plug in one of Asus external GPUs without losing any performance due to the limitations of USB 4, as you have full access to the PCIe lanes. You'll need a good gaming keyboard and gaming mouse setup to make full use of the desktop environment though. Editing the Excel spreadsheet might be a little difficult with the joysticks. Any hiccups in performance will be smoothed out by the VRR screen too, so unless you have some very heavy 1% and 0.1% lows, you shouldn't notice any dips in frame rate, allowing for a smooth and consistent experience. Unfortunately, Asus Armoury Crate Overlay paired with Windows 11 doesn't shine a candle to Valve's SteamOS in terms of functionality, but this will no doubt improve with time, and you have the added benefit of knowing that games such as Fortnite and Roblox will work out of the box.